belts. Blockbusters. You are listening to the Triple B podcast. Let's fucking go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Triple B podcast. I'm Tim.
I'm Ryan.
And this right here is the infamous Nathan that we bring up every episode, basically.
My older brother.
You've met me.
He's
the one who gifted us the wonderful spinner belt. Get her going. Wonderful.
He happens to be our first guest on this show, right? Yep. So
taking your virginity just like old times.
Yep.
A milestone.
Wouldn't have it any
for
other way.
us. But it would only be fitting to have Nathan as our first guest on the show.
You.
So.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm happy to be here. Been listening to you guys since the start, so I'm happy to be here. Happy to be sharing my opinions also. So
hell yeah.
The correct opinions.
Let's.
Oh, the only ones.
The only ones.
It's true. That's true. Let's jump right on in. We are going to bust open the old Bourbon in the Bank briefcase.
I like that.
So that I can
present
to you. Forgot.
Yeah, it's backwards.
Fucked up. I put the logo on the wrong side of the briefcase.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tiffany Stratton did too.
I was too excited when we got it. We have the 10-year aged tin cup.
Ooh.
Have you had this before, Nathan?
I have not had the 10-year. I've had tin cup.
I have also had tin cup, but I have not had the 10-year, so that's why I went with it. Timmy?
And I have not had tin cup, so
All right.
Another virginity popped.
Perfect. While I'm getting this open, Timmy's going to run us through our socials.
All right. Our socials are at Trippy Pod. You can find us on Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok. You can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. We are the Triple B Podcast, Bourbon, Belts, and Blockbusters. And you could get hold of us at a Gmail at triplebpod619@gmail.com. So send us your feedback of the show, any ideas that you have for the show, and we'd love to hear anything. We'll be posting more on social media going forward where you guys can interact with us. But I got to join the pour over here. I'm so far away. Please, sir, can I have some more? Oh, yeah, that's a good.
Afraid I wasn't gonna get her open before you finished the socials.
Yeah,
I didn't realize you learned how to read so quickly.
It's just the wrapping.
Good thing that put the cork back in.
Good thing there's a tin cup on top.
Yep, we're good.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
tin cup.
Yeah.
Shot
It's a little
glass.
shot glass.
Ah, where'd you get that at?
Oh, got a little bit of wrapper inside mine. Got that at Fred Meyer. Got it yesterday. I didn't wait until 6 o'clock this morning with my daughter.
All right, good.
They were a couple weeks ago.
They were gonna think Blaine needs a little alcohol.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, it was. They have like their normal alcohol case, and then at one end they have like their specials.
Premium.
Yeah, the premium stuff case. And yeah, that was in there. And I was like, hell yeah. I was looking for a different one. They don't carry it at Fred Meyer, and I didn't have time to make it down to Total Wine to get the one I wanted to get. Mm-hmm. So I went with this. I was like, all right, that should be solid. It is made with Rocky Mountain water.
So Coors?
Yeah. Coors Light, yeah, no. But yeah,
one of my favorite things.
It actually says it's a straight bourbon whiskey rested in white American oak barrels for a minimum of 10 years. It says a whiskey at its peak, Tin Cup 10, is mountain whiskey cut with Rocky Mountain water and bottled at an elevation of 5,251 feet. So,
John Denver's full of shit.
yeah.
So what they're saying is this is going to put hair on your chest.
I don't need that. I got too much of that. Here
All
we
right,
go,
brothers.
Pinky's out.
When in doubt, pinky's out. Ooh, back,
damn.
baby. We're fucking back in business.
Ooh. That.
God damn.
That's good.
All right. Guess first, dude. 1 out of 10. What are you giving her?
So, I will admit for the listeners, I'm not a bourbon guy.
Yeah.
You guys know I'm a Scotch guy.
Yep.
I prefer
Yep.
Scotches.
Yep.
But this is phenomenal. I'm gonna go with an 8.
Okay.
On this.
I
I'm gonna
like
give
it.
This guy an 8.
I like it. Timmy?
I'm going a 9.5.
9.5.
Yes, it is so smooth, like so smooth, and then it kicks you like after like 2 minutes. There, it kicks you back in the throat. I like it. Really like it.
I'm resetting the standard.
Oh,
I'm going 10.
You're going with a 10.
I'm giving
He's
it
giving
a
the
10.
10-year a
I think,
10.
I think this is 10 year 10. Yep, the tin cup 10 is getting a 10 from me. I think that is for me, that is hands down the best bourbon we've had on the show so far, and that's saying a lot because the French oak makers that we had on that was the first episode, has been the bar since day one, and that's fucking good. Like holy shit!
And I think 9.5 is the highest I've scored since
outside. I think that's the highest outside of the Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
so not being a bourbon connoisseur.
Yeah.
Myself. So, is it okay if I talk about some other bourbons that I have tried? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So, Basil Hayden Toast.
Fucking fantastic.
Never had it.
And Angel's Envy. Have you guys had Angel's Envy?
I've never had.
I have had Angel's Envy. Angel's Envy is actually not one of my favorite bourbons.
Really?
Yeah, I don't care for it that much.
So the toast. Now, obviously, I'm not a bourbon guy, but the toast I would put closer to a 10 than this. I feel like it's a little bit smoother and it's got a little bit more on the backside than this does.
All right.
So that's why I'm putting this at an 8. But, I mean, I drink this all day.
There's another Basil Hayden's that we haven't had on the show because I've already had it. So we've been lucky that every single time we do this, because we surprise each other with it every time we have a new one, we still have yet to have one that any of us have had before. Like it's been a new one for both of us every time, which has been cool. But there is another Basil Hayden's. I forget it's not like toast, right? I forget what the tagline for it is, but it's distilled in I think it's Merlot.
Oh, nice.
Like wine casks. That for a long time has been one of my favorite bourbons.
It's got a little more sweetness on it.
It's kind of, it's just so fucking smooth. It's so good. But no, man, this just reset the bar for me. This is absolutely fantastic.
It's phenomenal.
I mean, not even a bourbon drinker, and you gave it an 8. So like we're saying something good, man.
Like so Scotch. I like peatier scotches, but I do like some of the non-peaty. And I would put this against any.
Now, what does peaty mean?
So peaty is that kind of smoky.
Okay, yeah.
Smoky.
And you like the smokier ones?
The smokier ones.
Okay,
but like you get like a good Glenlivet.
We got a bourbon for you, my friend.
Yeah,
this guy will take on a Glenlivet any day of the week.
Yeah, we've never done this before, but when you get down to finishing that, if you're up for another finger. Sounds weird. It's my brother. Don't worry. We've done this before.
Yes, that in a little while. Usually, I'm the one asking to give another finger.
one of just I don't know. It was probably 3 or 4 episodes ago. We had a Bibb and Tucker bourbon, which was I think it was a 10-year also, but it was double charred. It was quite smoky. Caught us off. We should have been ready for it just because of the name, but it was like. Caught us off guard. So you might care for
the difference between the smoke that you're going to get in a bourbon or like a Kentucky whiskey is that's in a charred barrel. Mm-hmm. So the smokiness from a Scotch comes from the actual peat. They use peat moss. So
gotcha.
Peat and they harvest peat and use that.
Gotcha.
In the distilling process. So that's where that
comes
from. But yeah.
Hell yeah. We're learning
a little information.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to jump forward to some Seahawks football. It was all right. So we lost on Monday to the Lions. 42-29. We're 3-1. I'm just going to start it off with it was a fucking good game. Like all around, it was a really good game. There's so many things I could say. I don't want to try to make excuses because I don't want to take anything away from the Lions themselves. They're a fucking powerhouse. They're a good team, offensively, defensively, all around coached. Like I love Dan Campbell. They're just all around a good fucking team. So I don't want to take shit away. It was very unfortunate that we ended up having to face another NFC powerhouse in the injury situation that we were in. Because I think the game would have been significantly closer. Not saying we would have won, but I think the game would have been a little bit different. But by halftime, we were missing 6 starting defensive players.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's obviously tough. But that all considered, we still got to him. We still got to Goff 3 times.
And a good portion of the game, we were within 1 score. I mean, it wasn't like it was a blowout.
No, not at all. I mean, even the final
the offense
13-point difference
definitely showed up.
Dude, our offense, like Gino
aside from a couple blunders, DK Metcalf fumble, a couple blunders that set us back a little bit.
Smith threw a pick at the end of the game, but that's like a last ditch effort. It's 4th down, 4th and long, and there's a minute left in the game. You're out of timeout. Like you gotta fucking throw something up. It's like I get that, but Smith
our defense
had
obviously the
career day.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
our defense and obviously we had the injuries. We're like you said, missing six starters by halftime. We started the game missing 5, so.
Yeah.
We had 1 more go out during that first half.
Yeah, Julian Love.
Defense, those second, third string guys, man, they're the guys right now. They need to step it up a little bit more. But at the same time, they're young.
Yeah.
It's a young team. And they didn't do horrible.
Yeah.
They couldn't. They had. You're going to have problems against Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have problems.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Wilson, or Williams,
Jared Goff,
all of
Jared
them,
Goff
dude.
throwing the ball. Jared's one of those guys you can't count him out ever. So, like, he can make things happen. He could have a crap
He is
day. He could have a great day,
and
so.
this is gonna sound like a hit to Jared Goff, and I don't mean it to be, but Jared Goff is like he is a dink and dunk master.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna burn you very often. Deep down the field, they did hit that like the 70-yard touchdown, but the ball itself traveled like 15 yards.
Pass.
And we just didn't have anybody there. It was just a miscommunication in the secondary. So like, and Jameson Williams is fucking fast too.
Yeah.
So it's like when he gets some open space, you're not catching the motherfucker. So yeah, no, it was. I said this a lot this week because again, I'm a teacher. I have students that obviously are football fans, and we always talk. It was just like the biggest blow for that game to me was the fact that it's the Lions. That's definitely going to if it was the Chiefs, if it was somebody in the AFC, that would be an easier pill to swallow. But it's the fact that like we were so injury riddled that this is going to have playoff implications down the line, which is just a bummer. But nothing away from the Lions, dude. They were well coached. They had a great game plan. They came into it. They executed it beautifully, offensively at least. Because, our defense was hurt, and we couldn't stop their offense but I think we forced them to punt twice. Their defense also had a really hard time stopping our offense.
Well,
we put up 500 and almost 530 yards of total offense.
And you look, if you go back and you watch Davis, number 23, the Lions defense, he learned early in the game he couldn't cover DK Metcalf.
Oh, yeah.
And every single time that ball DK got targeted, DK either caught it or was pass interference.
Yep.
Every single time.
Yep.
He learned early on he could not cover DK. So those are good things for us. Being able to have our offense go out and put up numbers like that against and a phenomenal defense like Lions have.
Yeah, the Lions have a great defense.
No one's saying anything bad about the Lions in general. But
we proved, I think, to the rest of the league that we can compete. We can essentially go toe-to-toe with the best in the NFC when we are not even close to 100%, which I think is hopefully should be scary because when we get back to 100%, which is coming up quickly.
We needed that because the first 2 weeks, Denver,
Patriots,
like they're not, they're
I was
not the greatest teams in the league right now,
Yeah.
And so okay, we beat them, but like, what does that mean? So we lost the Lions, but like we put up a really good fight and played a really good game.
Yeah.
So I think that should show everyone that the Seahawks are, we're in a rebuild, but we're still a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I was going to say Lions are the most complete team we've played all season long and definitely the toughest. And you guys said it best, we showed up to play. And the most promising thing is the offense is still it's chugging along. We have a depleted offensive line, and
Yeah, man.
we are still putting up big numbers. We're rushing the ball, we're passing the ball, and years past, like we would not be toe to toe with the Lions with what's going on with the injuries and everything.
And I don't know how we're looking on time for this, but I've been saying it for a couple years now. Gino is a solid backup quarterback.
He is a franchise quarterback.
Gino is the guy. I mean, he can do the work. He can come out and do it.
He's playing with a chip on his shoulder this year. I think
he's out there proving me wrong week after week.
This is going to potentially ruffle some feathers, and this could age poorly. But if he stays healthy, he could potentially end up going down as the best quarterback in Seahawks history. He has already surpassed Russell Wilson in multiple franchise records. He's only been here for 3 fucking years. This is his 3rd year as a starter.
I mean, I can see that.
So I'm like, just his grit, his determination. He's a team guy. I don't know, man. Like, I am a Geno dude. I fucking I love Geno Smith. So, well, we're to talk about getting healthier. We got the Giants tomorrow at home. Just on paper, obviously that's a good opponent to have after a Monday night loss like
coming
that.
Into a San Francisco 49ers on Thursday.
Yeah, we're playing 11 games in 10 days.
3 games.
Sorry, three games. 3 games in 10 days.
But we can't necessarily use that as an excuse because San Francisco's got 3 games in 12 days. So
yeah. But Ken Walker's fully healthy.
Yep.
He's back. Obviously, he showed that real fucking well on Monday. Julian Love and Leonard Williams have been named game day captains, so they're playing.
All right.
So they're both back. Chenna practiced 2 days, Friday. He practiced, I think he was limited in the walkthrough on Wednesday. I don't think he practiced Thursday, but he practiced Friday. Obviously, I haven't seen the report for today, if they practice today. But it's looking more and more likely that Chenna should play. So defensive line, outside of Byron Murphy, he's already been ruled out. He has a hammy that's a little more than what any of the other guys have had. Defensive line, we should be this will be the first time we've been at full strength.
What about
Mafe? I believe Mafe is good to go. I believe he played too. So we'll have Mafe, we'll have Leonard Williams, we'll have Chenna, and Derek Hall, who's been on a fucking tear. He leads the fucking team in sacks right now. He has 4 on the season in 4 games.
Yeah.
So those 4 dudes all back on the line. Plus we are Jaron Reed played great last week. Jonathan Hankins has been filling in really well. Our defensive line looks strong again. Jerome Baker's practice, so he should be back. So our linebacker crew should be at full strength. I did see Tyrese Knight didn't practice 2 of the days, so I'm not sure what that's about. So it's really just, at this point now, it's our offensive line that is still turnstiles, but they've held up enough. They've held up well enough in the run game.
Yeah.
Right. And then when you get the run game going, the pass game shit opens. So,
and even if they can't hold up in the pass as well, Gino proved this last game that he can.
He doesn't need the line to hold up.
He can get out of there. He can play. So.
Not only can he scramble still really well, he might be one of the best quarterbacks in the league at getting the ball out quickly from pressure. Yeah. Not just snapping it and dink and dunk, but getting this his release is so fast. So I don't know. My thoughts, this is a game that we need to blow them out. This needs to be a multi-score lead at halftime to bounce back from the loss to the Lions, to then just continue to kind of solidify we're not playing down to teams.
Yeah.
We can take that loss on the chin and then come back the next week on a short week and go fucking hand it to a team that has no business on the field with us. That's what the Giants are.
Yeah.
The Giants they're a joke of a team this year.
At the same time though, do you want to put that kind of energy into a blowout type situation with them, knowing that you have a team like the 49ers 4 days later.
What do you mean?
I mean,
What do you mean that type of energy?
do you want to run the Giants that hard?
I think you have to. I don't think you have a choice.
Yeah,
Because if you don't, if you take your foot off the pedal, then they're going to surprise you, and and it's going to be a much closer game than it should be. I think that's the mentality that you end up getting in, that we got into under Pete Carroll a lot,
True.
which caused us to play down to teams.
Playing for the next week, not for this week.
Yeah. You're playing down to the team instead of you just play the fucking game that you play, which is what I love about Mike McDonald. He doesn't give a fuck. Like, he's so fucking stonewalled of a dude too. Like, you see him on the sideline, almost no emotion the entire fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like,
Well, and that's
and I love that.
Pete's first, couple seasons, the Super Bowl season, both Super Bowl seasons, the one that we won and then the one after. They played like that. It was we're playing for this week,
yeah,
and then
playing for that 1-0 time.
After Russ got hurt that one time, they started playing for next week.
Yeah,
and I agree. That's where you lose yourself. So
yeah.
I mean,
all right, I'm
you
going.
can't stop them.
Like I said, I think it needs to be a blowout. What are you guys thinking?
I think it needs to be a blowout. I don't know that it is going to be a blowout.
Can I pause real quick? I forgot to say, no Singletary, no Malik Neighbors. They're down their They're down their only two offensive weapons, and a starting tackle, and they have Daniel Jones throwing the ball, which is already.
I will not discredit any quarterback against previous Seahawks team. I know this is a different one, but that fear is in the back of my head from previous years. So
fuck you, Andy Dalton.
Fuck you, Colt McCoy.
Yeah, Colt McCoy is the fucking number one. Goddamn.
He was on the Giants and Cardinals and beat us. So
I think no, because I haven't. We aren't playing fantasy this year, so I haven't been following everyone as closely as I should. So with that new revelation of offensive weapons being gone, I think we're all we got. We're all we need.
Yeah, Timmy, what do you think?
I think maybe we see a little Legion of Boom action going on out there this week.
I agree with you. I think we need to come out strong on this win and just blow the door open and don't even make it a close game. So I think the Seahawks win, and they should win, and bring in some good momentum going into that Thursday night game.
Hell yeah.
Which I'm going to be at.
Yeah, the Niners game.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
You and Tally are going. Tally's a Niners fan.
Yeah, my girlfriend.
Yeah, I know. It's questionable, but we still love her. Mostly. All right. Well, Timmy, that brings us to bells. All righty, Timmy.
Well, we got we're introducing a new format. Not only are we having our first guest, but we're also changing the format. We figure our listeners are watching the shows and know what's going on. They don't want to hear a recap. They want to hear discussions about what we thought was awesome about the shows. Yeah. And
on the other side of that, I know a handful of people that have and do listen to the show that aren't wrestling fans, but they listen for the Bourbon and the movie and the Blockbusters section. This could also potentially lend more towards their type of thing as well too, because I'm definitely not going to want to have a full recap of shows.
Yeah,
might I add a little insight here as a listener since you guys have started?
Chia dog.
I would concur.
All right,
I've already watched the show, most of them.
Yeah,
I don't watch AEW.
We don't cover AEW anymore.
We're good. So I watched the show. I don't need you guys to tell me what happened. I want to know how you guys feel about it.
Yeah. And
that's what I want to know, because I want to sit here and I want to argue as I'm watching the show. I want to argue with Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason I had you on here, was so that we could talk shit to each other.
Tired of you saying it and me watching it and hearing about it later.
Well, stop having stupid thoughts. No, but that was pretty much the conversation Tim and I had last week after the episode that we did last week. We were just like, it feels too scripted almost. Like we're just like bam, 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 bam. The whole point that we wanted to start doing this show was to just fucking sit down and have a conversation with each other
Just
about
the
the shit that we
bullshit.
enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bullshit, right? So bullshit was originally one of the B's. So we are now going to title the segment for belts. What do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about?
So,
What do you
Tim,
want to talk
Nathan, what do you want to talk about?
Let's go with the guest first.
Let's
What
go
do
with
you
the guest. Yeah,
want to
dog.
talk
I
about?
want to talk about Monday Night Raw
Let's do it.
and the lack of care for the tag team division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, we've got the New Day on the verge of separation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did we have this last Monday? We had R-Truth return.
Being
And what did we have?
the Miz turned on
The
him.
Miz turned on him.
Breakup of Awesome
Boom.
Truth.
That
Again.
right there is two tag teams. Phenomenal tag teams. Great tag teams.
Really good,
Strong
yeah.
tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
Both of which have won
The
Tag
the tag team
titles.
championship.
I would argue the two longest running tag teams on. We already talked about this about New Day last week, but the Awesome Truth too. They were probably the two longest running tag teams on the brand,
that
potentially in the company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
in the company right now.
So
That leaves you with AOP, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, the Creed brothers, and whichever two of the Wyatt Six that you want to throw into a ring at any given point.
And LWO,
And
but
LWO, all of
But
these
yeah,
tag
they're-
teams are involved in faction business right now.
and the
Stable business.
LWO again
they're
to
not
your
operating by themselves as tag teams.
yeah, and to your point also with like the lack of respect to the tag division, LWO has realistically they've kind of been treated like the Attitude Era cruiserweights of the tag team division. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
they have been given zero respect for their
Yeah.
abilities in the ring, realistically. So
yeah.
yeah, it's a really good point. I think it's
I think we need to get away from because how many factions, how many stables do we have right now between Raw and SmackDown? We've got over a dozen stables factions. I think that they need to
Pretty
get away
close,
from that.
yeah.
You can have one or two, but everyone can't be the big dog on the show. You know,
yeah.
you can't have a Judgment Day running around saying we run Raw, and then in the next segment, Final Testament comes out and says we run Raw, and then in the next segment, the Wyatt Six comes out and says we run Raw. Someone has to run Raw. Someone has to be the big dog. So I think that they need to start kind of getting away from that faction mentality and moving back into singles competition where we're actually seeing competition over on SmackDown, Andrade, Mello, in actual competition for the U.S. Championship. We need to actually see that competition happen. Get
Yeah.
away from, I'm in this faction, so I have a title shot.
You bring up a good point. I mean, I think in the new era, the Triple H era, the tag team division has definitely been hurt the most from this. I mean, it hasn't ever been a very strong thing in WWE in the past years. I mean, we had some good times with the Hardys,
Yeah,
Dudleys.
you got to go back to the Attitude Era. To find
And
it.
and then we had a good tag team division on SmackDown in the Ruthless Aggression era, but yeah, definitely has been a long time. I thought Triple H could bring it up, but it's actually kind of declined. So definitely a good point. I don't think we should be seeing teams break up right now. That said, I think Miz belongs as a heel. I think he's just better suited for a heel.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I don't want to see New Day break
I love
up.
the Awesome Truth.
Yeah.
I think they make a great team, but nothing beats a Miz heel turn.
Yeah.
Nothing beats it.
Mhm.
And even as I was watching, I was like, another great Miz heel turn.
Yep.
Can't wait.
I can't wait because I hope he starts going towards the Intercontinental title, and he is one of the best Intercontinental champions in the past, and him versus Jay, I could see great storylines coming
be
from.
awesome.
So
Yeah.
All right.
Well, speaking of Jay, that was one of the things I wanted to talk about. Was I thought it was really cool to see Braun Breaker come out and literally just because we haven't seen that side of Braun Breaker before, where he comes out after taking a clean defeat and just gives Jay his flowers and shows them the respect and straight up was like, I'm not going to attack you. I'm not going to spear you. I just wanted to say like, congrats,
Mhm.
you know, and then kind of just see that, mutual respect between the two. Yeah, I thought that was an awesome continuance of a build for Braun Breaker's character.
Yeah, because you've had Braun
Gave
Breaker,
it a human side.
You've had Braun Breaker be that poor loser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this whole time.
for sure.
Since he joined the main roster, you've had him be that poor loser. You know, I mean, he lose a match and he'd go and spear Sami Zayn. Or, you know, you've had that. So to see him come out, that is amazing character development.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. Just like Ryan just said, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Do you think this was a face turn for Braun Breaker? It seemed very, good guy-ish, and then later in the night, he even confronts Gunther, who is a big-time heel. So is it a face turn? Is it a start of a face turn? Or is it just, are we in a stage where a lot of wrestlers are tweeners right now, and we don't even mind that?
I feel like that's where Braun is, and I feel like that's where he should be, and I feel like that's where he thrives, is in that in between where he's. I don't want to compare him to Stone Cold Steve Austin, but it was like Steve Austin was almost never a heel, even when he was a heel. Orton too, like even when he is a heel, you're still rooting for him because this character is just that good. Obviously, Braun's not there yet to that point, but I could see it getting to that point, and that's where I would want it to go, is to have him be that, like, he's a bad guy, he's a good guy, doesn't fucking matter. You're rooting for him, right? Because that's where it's kind of been so far, is like, we wanted to see him win the title. No, I didn't want to see Sami Zayn drop it, but I wanted to see gold on Braun Breaker, right?
His in-ring work is so awesome.
It's amazing.
He's such a performer. I mean, you can see he's a Steiner.
Yeah.
And because of that, like, he's got a following. You can hear when he comes out, you can hear the dogs.
Oh yeah.
And it's hard to have a heel draw numbers like that and having a following like that.
Yeah.
Where they're the bad guy. They're supposed to be getting booed so they can put other superstars over, but they're not. They're getting the cheers. So I mean, kind of the same thing with Orton, same thing with Stone Cold. Yeah. Once you start getting those cheers, you got to run with it somehow.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna be a tweener for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. Well, I wanted to talk about Gunther and Zayn and the setup for next week's Raw. I think Gunther coming out and talking about, he's got a lot to live up to. He doesn't want to disappoint his father, doesn't want to be a loser in anything. And then Sami Zayn comes out and he's been really egging Gunther on and everything, and talking about, hey, you ducked me. You didn't ask for a rematch or anything after he lost the Intercontinental title. Yeah. I just really like how this feud is building up. I wish it was going to be on Bad Blood, but on Raw is good, and I think they're doing this feud justice. It got a lot of history to it already with the WrestleMania build-up, and then adding on to this. What do you guys think about Sami Zayn and Gunther going?
I love the build that they're doing with this. Sammy's like that little fucking ankle biter that just won't fucking go away. You keep kicking him and he just keeps fucking coming back for more. And I fucking love it. He's been, we've talked so much about it already, but he's been nothing but gold on the microphone, in the ring. Like, he brings that everyday normal guy feel to like the superstardom that lives within all that, and it just makes it's very relatable. I feel like, because he's not the biggest dude, he's not the strongest dude, he doesn't have like the fucking just chiseled physique, he's got the beard, he's got the fucking shaggy hair. Like, he's just your fucking everyday guy that you can just like get behind, and everything he does just makes you be like, fuck yeah, let's go. So 100%. I'm stoked for it.
Yeah. Like you were just saying, I mean, Sami Zayn just looks like one of us. He doesn't look like a professional wrestler. Yeah. He looks like he got up off the couch and went to WWE and jumped barricades.
Went and got in ring,
yeah. Like, that's just how he looks, and he rocks it, and he comes out, puts on an amazing performance every time he's in the ring. And I think the thing that stood out most to me about their confrontation this last week was when Sammy said, "I already beat you once."
Mm-hmm.
I think you're just scared.
I love that too.
Gunther didn't have anything to say to that. Which
Nope.
tells me Gunther's a little scared. He's a little scared. Sami Zayn can beat him. He's already proven it.
He's the only one he's lost to.
The only person that has pinned him in the ring since he joined the main roster.
So
Mhm.
I think
it should be a good
yeah,
show.
I think Sammy has a point there for sure.
Yeah, just building off your points is just, he reminds me of Mick Foley, of Daniel Bryan or Brian Daniels, saying what it is. Just, he looks like that everyday guy, and they just seem to rise to the top because the fans can really relate, get him to the top, and puts on a show. They put on a show.
He's the ultimate underdog.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is. He's even more than Zach Gallen.
Yep.
He didn't have a leg.
Oh man, it's funny that you used a comparison like that, because I actually had in my notes for it had written, he gives me to a point Mick Foley vibes.
Is it the sweatpants?
I mean that too, but just specifically after the segment that we just had on Raw gets fucking dismantled essentially by Gunther real quick in the ring, and then Gunther says, "You got your match," and as he's walking out, Sammy's like sits up and he's just like in pain, grimacing, but he's smiling.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was like, that is fucking Mick Foley
Yeah.
to
100%,
a T.
100%.
Like, so it was just funny that you said that, because I was just about to say that he reminds me of, and I was like, no fucking way. No chance you're going to say the same fucking thing. We've done that before. I would not be that surprised, but that one would have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Nice.
I got, I want to talk on SmackDown.
Okay.
And I think I heard you guys mention this earlier when I was utilizing El Bano, but I actually wanted to talk about the dumpster match.
Okay.
I don't know what you guys said about it. I just overheard one of you guys mention it. I
It was a
thought
specific question.
I thought the match was actually fucking awesome. I didn't have high hopes for it, honestly. But Chelsea Green continues to do nothing but impress me
100%.
with the fucking spots that she is willing to take for this. Like, there's not a lot of women wrestlers that we've had over the years that are taking some of the bumps that Chelsea Green's taken. Fucking Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
The fucking off from the middle of the ring, ladder out to the side. Like, that's the type of shit that you're used to seeing fucking Jeff take. The Dudley, like that type of shit. You're like, what the fuck? And then the fucking power bomb into the goddamn, through the table into the dub. I was like, let's fucking
she
go.
was going to be okay after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she had hooked her feet on the front of Michin to help hold herself up. She did not unhook
One of the
Her right
legs.
leg.
Yeah.
Oh,
when
really?
she came down. I did not think Chelsea Green was coming out of that uninjured.
Yeah. It was, I mean, dude, it was like just all around. And
That's a quick way to a torn ACL.
yeah. But Michin, too, is just continues to just fucking show out in these matches. And like, she thrives. Like, dude, she is the most hardcore character in WWE on the roster,
I
from
think
top to bottom, from the world titles down to the bottom of the NXT roster. Michin is the most hardcore ECW fucking character. Like, her whole attire, like everything, just cries ECW hardcore.
She just needs more charisma. That there's something lacking there for me.
Yeah,
I think she's got the total package in the ring. The bell rings. She's on it. Like, it's just, there's something missing character wise.
to play
for
devil's
me.
advocate to that, I don't think she's been given the chance.
Agreed.
Right?
I would
to
agree.
build that.
Yes.
Because like, that's not like that's something that has to be grown
Mhm.
for the most part, right? There's, unless you catch that fucking light with certain individuals, like, there's not very many that can just fucking pull that out of their ass, right? And be able to just like start superstardom overnight.
Yeah.
Fucking Stone Cold, right?
Mhm.
Winning King of the Ring, and then drops two fucking just absolutely fire catchphrases one after another just off the top of his head.
Austin
316, and
said,
then
I just kicked your ass.
That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold says so. That's how he
Yeah.
ends it. And it's like the next day on Raw, that's all the signs were in the crowd. Like, that's the type of thing where you're catching lightning in the bottle,
Yeah.
right? So I think like Michin just hasn't been given enough opportunity. And the more that she keeps getting these the screen time in these matches, I think that's gonna just. I think
and on the other side,
growing.
Chelsea Green. I don't like Chelsea Green's character.
Really?
I just don't.
I love it.
I don't.
I absolutely
and I'm
love
supposed to not like it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm supposed to not like Chelsea Green,
and that's why I like it so much is because she's so fucking good at making you hate her.
I have not liked Chelsea Green's in-ring work over the last few months until the dumpster match. I think she put on a phenomenal match with Michin.
Yeah,
it was great. I didn't see anything where I was like, oh, you know.
Yeah, no, she was like
certain. If Chris Jericho, if you're watching this, I'm going to use the word botched. I know you hate it. There were no botched moves. There were no botched spots.
It was very clean. The whole match was very
and to answer your question, Tim had asked me how Chelsea Green came out covered in what looked like chili when Michin had gone in there 2 times prior and came out clean. So.
I know. That is true. That is very true.
Why is Michin not stinky is what I'm getting to.
Yeah. She also went in the dumpster. Yeah, she just didn't get the lid closed. So maybe the chili was on the lid.
Yeah.
It's got to be on the lid. That's what it is.
Yeah.
All right, Nathan, what you got?
You got anything else?
Another one? I'm going to need another finger here.
Do you want the other stuff or you just want this again?
Let me try that other stuff.
Okay.
I said smoke and caught my eye. Let's talk about this bloodline situation, huh? Obviously, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes can't take the entire numbers of the bloodline, right?
Nope.
What do we think? What do we think's going to happen here? I've heard rumors Jimmy's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard rumors of a Zilla Fatu maybe joining.
I've heard Hikuleo has signed with the WWE.
I heard that too. I heard he was already added to the NXT roster.
Okay.
I also heard, or I guess this one was more of I read I don't know if it's, we kind of had this conversation, I don't know if it's a tweet anymore, or if it's just a post on X.
You X'd it?
You X'd it?
You X'd it?
Anyways, The Rock is in Georgia.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Which is where Bad Blood is. He posted that he was at a, I don't remember what the school was, but some high school football game in Georgia. Mm-hmm. So that's also an interesting potential setup.
More importantly, is Paul Heyman dead?
Yeah, that is one thing. I have not
seen him since the Bloodline killed him, and I would like to see him.
He's probably catching up on sleep. The last time we saw him, he had no sleep. He did not look well. So he's he's hibernating.
He looked
hibernating
real rough.
And maybe dead
He'll be back
as well.
Big guy, yeah. He looked rough. Yeah, I don't know. Me and Tim have talked about this on the show a couple times, just especially since like we're going to Survivor Series and just like what we've hoped for and whatnot. And I know that we've both, whatever happens at Bad Blood, whatever, we need the goddamn Bloodline Civil War to happen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it has to happen.
Like, I think it should be a foregone conclusion that Jimmy's coming back at some point in some capacity. We know The Rock's going to, just based off his final interaction with Cody, that he's not done. There's more shit there. I don't really know how to answer the question of what's going on with the Bloodline situation though, because Cody's still involved. Yeah, I think that's the biggest kind of like nail in it for me right now is I'm like, I don't fucking I don't know what's going on.
The Bloodline Civil War, but also a title match.
Hey. Yeah, so I don't really know, they need to
figure that out and get that situated.
Yeah,
the Survivors is coming up quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a month and a half ish
away. Yeah,
almost
probably
2
closer
months.
to 2 months right now. But yeah, it's
we
still
haven't heard anything about it yet.
Yeah,
I mean, PLE to PLE, but
yeah. No, I agree. I think we all know it's eventually the two heads is going to be Roman Rock is the heads butting. After all things are said and done, so how do we get to there?
Yeah.
And
because that's what it was supposed to be last year. WrestleMania was supposed to be The Rock, Roman Reigns, and then The Rock said, "No, Cody had a chance. Let's give it to Cody." Right?
Well, That's because the entire fan base started to fucking rebel against the entire company because they were like, "What the fuck are you doing? Cody's what we want."
Yeah, well, and Cody chose Roman at the Royal Rumble when he won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
He chose Roman right then and there.
yeah.
So that was weird, but
I only got one more thing I wanted to talk about.
I got a couple things, but
Okay.
yeah.
Go for them.
I want to rewind a little back to Raw, the last Monster Standing match.
Oh.
I thought the guys
or-
tore down the house.
Yeah,
they did.
I those guys continue to shine together, and we call it the Meat Fest. Meat Fest 3, 4,
was-
whatever. I think it was 3.
Meat Fest 3, yeah.
There's a lot of in betweens, but
Yeah.
but official match, and
Official
they
Meat
tore
Fest
down the
3.
house. But I think the biggest thing to take away is Rollins is back. Cost Bronson the match, and
in a brutal fucking spot too. Like,
yeah,
Bronson Reed played that so goddamn well. The way he was after he took the curb stomp on the stairs, the way he was then laying, there's no way that wasn't excruciating for a big dude like that
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
lay. He was straight bananaed
yeah.
with his head just fucking up on the thing, and I was like, oh my god! Like a picture of it that I saw, I was like, did he die? Like,
and
I was
and
like, oh my
that's
god!
After putting on a performance that they put on.
Yeah,
I mean,
this-
watching
yeah.
dudes that size fly through the air.
Yeah.
Spots
They
in
were
the match were
flying. I was like, wow.
Strowman
like,
flew off the
hats
top
off
rope to
these
the
guys.
outside,
Yeah.
crossbody.
Like, you never saw the Big Show do that.
No,
ever.
He would have never got back up.
No. But I guess my biggest fear of this is because I've been telling you, I've been so on the Bronson Reed train. It's hard to see him going over Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to derail him, so hopefully there's a good outcome for it.
Yeah. Hopefully they
But,
can figure it out to where it protects
Yeah,
both of them, right?
because I mean Rollins is it's Monday Night Rollins, right?
yeah,
He's,
and Rollins is one of those guys where like he has truly been the face of Raw
Mhm.
for years now,
and he's proven that he can be not selfish. He lost to Cody
yeah.
Rhodes over and over. But
yeah,
the torn pec he lost to him in Hell in Cell, you know.
yeah,
So
yeah,
he's definitely not a selfish player, but
not at all.
I just don't see him losing to Bronson Reed either. And
Yeah.
so
Because Seth's also one of those guys that like I think you need and want him when he's healthy to be on the main card.
He needs
Picture.
to be in the title picture. I
Yeah.
mean, flat out. Like, Seth Rollins needs to be in the title picture.
Or
Mhm.
at the very least in a a feud similar to Punk and McIntyre.
Yeah.
Right? Or something that
Someday.
it's like might not be the title picture, but they're gonna steal the show.
I do agree Bronson Reed's not the guy for that.
Yeah.
I
think
feel
he
like
could
I
be,
feel
but
like
it's
that
not
was
there
just a way of getting Rollins back in.
yet.
Yeah.
I
Was
do feel like
have him put down the guy that put him down, but it also doesn't really harm Bronson Reed any because he had already been brutalized by Braun Strowman. So this is
gonna I feel like there's no way out of it that it doesn't that there's not a feud here.
yeah.
Even if it's a short-lived feud, like it could be Crown Jewel,
Yeah.
right? But it's
Yeah, and there's no way for it to end that doesn't have Bronson Reed ruining what he's built so far as a
Mhm.
powerhouse, a monster.
I'm good.
right? Because if he destroys Seth Rollins, but then Seth Rollins has to go leave for another 6 months.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
so I think that they would have Rollins win that, and that's going to make Bronson Reed look bad. I kind of, Jey Uso winning the Intercontinental kind of downplayed a little bit what Braun Breaker's been doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is actually one of the things that I was worried about with that match.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Intercontinental match, I feel like it did protect them both, or it
Mhm.
protected Braun Breaker
Yeah.
just because like it was such a battle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, it wasn't like a
Yeah.
clean a quick sweep. It was
Yeah. It was a hard fought fucking victory.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
You said you had one more thing?
Yeah, I had one more. TLC, or not TLC, sorry, triple threat ladder match for the tag titles.
That's what I wanted to talk. That was the other thing.
I figured that's how I was saving for the end. I figured that would be the last thing. That match, like we talked about it last week on the show when like it was, it had been announced that it was going to happen, and Tim instantly said it had like he was getting like the like Hardy's, Christian Edge, Dudley's TLC type vibes going into this match, and. I mean, I wasn't there.
No.
I don't think, because like those are historic matches. Like nothing's ever gonna get to that point. But I mean, it was pretty fucking goddamn good.
I think this was one of the best ladder matches in a long time.
It was great. It was awesome, and it was Tama and Tonga, Tonga
and Tonga.
No, but specifically Tonga Loa. I have no qualms with him in this match.
I have one.
For the most, I have one. Say for the most part, one.
It was how he got the belts down. Like
he
climbed.
Was
all he had to do was pull the belts down. He didn't need to bring down the whole thing.
I think he was struggling with the belts a little bit. Yeah. And then he stood all the way up on the top.
I was freaking out for him.
Like Tom is holding the fucking ladder on the bottom, like don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. And then he unhooked it, which they have done that before. That's not new, unhooking the whole thing with the tag titles. But yeah, it took a little longer than it probably should have.
But your point,
performance-wise in the ring,
I think he did great.
Great.
It was a great match.
And what a great ending, too. Like, they really set it up to make you think that the Bloodline was losing it.
Yeah. I mean, just the sequence outside the ring, going through the tables.
The frog splash through the table was...
Was that Tez? That was Tez, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my...
Yeah, that's the best frog splash. I'm saying it in history. He hits the best fucking frog splash, dude. I just straight up like
I don't know. I'd give it 4 stars.
I don't know, dude.
I get it.
I get it too, but I'm just saying his fucking frog splash is higher than anybody else's, and it is clean as fuck. How often do you see somebody hit a move onto a table where their stomach is literally the first thing to make contact?
Oh yeah, you don't. He went
out, in, out, and he fucking stayed fully out. Yeah. His belly button was the first fucking thing that made contact on Tama.
Like, tickling the other belly.
I was like, they showed the replay too. I was like, oh my God, that was as clean as I thought it was live. Yeah. Like, it was fucking, that was wild.
Yeah,
it was great.
It was that whole sequence, and then, them power bombing Tama. Was it Tama? Tonga.
I think it was Tama.
It was Tonga. It was either Tonga or Tonga. It was one of them.
Tonga Loa, I think, is the one that ate the frog splash.
And then
Tama's the one that took the
power bomb through the announce table. At that point, I was like, they're taking the belts from them. Like, we haven't seen any member of the bloodline, the new bloodline,
really get
handled like this. I think that's a sign that they're going to lose it. And then you got Tommaso Ciampa climbing, and then you got Montez climbing, and then you got Dawkins climb, and then Johnny climbs, and then boom, they go through the ladder over here, and then
dude,
I was like, the bloodline had it.
Dawkins on Ciampa, fucking
that was back dirty, dude.
Belly to back suplex, and
they died.
So Lindsay, this was the funny thing too. Lindsay, while that was on this morning, she was like, "I think you were right about the ladders being wood, because those ones are definitely spray painted and they look like 2x4s." And I was like, "Some of them are, and some of them aren't." The one that Dawkins, that one was metal. It bent, straight up bent. The one that Tez and Gargano went through, that was wood. Mm-hmm. You could see the wood. It snapped. You could see the wood. So it was just funny because she said that, and then that happened, and I was like, "Yeah, that one was metal. That one was wood." Like I said, they have some of each. I was like, usually the ones that people go through are the wood ones because they're like set up to break.
Yeah.
The one that they went through in the corner, the belly to back, I don't know if that one was supposed to be there. No, I was like, that fucking, oh my God. Yeah, that looked rough. But that was such a good ending sequence.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
I thought this could have been a good time for them to lose the tag titles because I thought this would have been a good chance for Cody and Roman to drive the Bloodline feud a little further.
Yeah.
Cost them the titles. And then just continue this overall feud.
And this Bloodline feud, I mean, is clearly leading to a Bloodline Civil War. You don't want to have title gold.
Yeah, you're
wrapped up.
You're not going to be defending it.
You're not going to be defending it. It's going to be months. God knows how long. If they're planning on pushing this thing to WrestleMania, it's going to be forever before those things get defended again because they're going to be constantly involved in storyline.
Yeah.
So this would have been a perfect time to lose it, but I'm still like I'm
but
okay with them not losing.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It was a really good ending to the match.
Yes,
so.
100%, and loved it. So yeah.
All right. Well, I think that did that wrap up.
Wrapped
up our first segment of what do you want to talk about?
Yep.
All right. Moving on to the banger of the week, gents. Guess first.
6-man tag match. LWO. Judgment Day.
Oh, wow.
That match was phenomenal.
Damn.
High flying.
Yeah.
A lot of high impact going on.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking LWO guys are so, like what we were just talking about
so
earlier, they don't
good.
get enough credit. They're so fucking good in the ring. It's insane.
And
some of those over the top
to be able
rope
to
spots.
Stand there with guys like Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee and hold your own as luchadors. It's phenomenal. I think it was a really good match. There so much athleticism. There wasn't a single botch spot. There wasn't any slop to it. It was all clean. It was exactly what I would expect from a main event match. So I'm going to name that the banger of the week for me.
Nice.
Timmy, I'm going to let you go.
All right. We don't talk about NXT, but I'm going with NXT. Ooh. This was the debut on CW this week, and the show started with Julia versus Roxanne Perez, and the match killed it. It crushed it. We've been talking a lot about how the women's division has been a little lacking other than the title pictures.
Mm-hmm.
This match was a banger. It was a banger through and through up until the end, and I was invested. So, great match. NXT. What about you?
I love that you just did that because I'm sticking with the women's division. I'm doing the dumpster match. Was my banger of the week because for very similar reasons. We've talked multiple times outside of both the women's world titles. The women's division has over the last, couple months has really been like, what the fuck are we doing? Mm-hmm. Outside of Damage Control getting the win over Unholy Union last week. But it was just like outside of that, it was like, what is going on? It doesn't feel like there's a lot of direction here. There wasn't a lot of bright spots. Again, outside of those like 4 to 5 main people in those situations. And so seeing 2 characters like Meechin and Chelsea Green, who have been habitually underused and be in that moment and have those spots and have as good of a match like we already talked about. And again, Chelsea Green just taking some of those just the spots that she is willing to fucking do, I think just deserves to be reiterated. Mm-hmm. It's super fucking impressive, man. So I wanted to just that's my banger of the week.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Moving on to the question of the week, Timmy, what do you got for us? You posed it.
I posed this question. So, as we all know, WWE is now under the same umbrella as UFC under TKO. And UFC has recently been adding fights to their Hall of Fame. And so now that WWE is under that same umbrella, what if WWE were to adopt that same practice? My question is, what is the first match you guys would induct into that Hall of Fame?
King of the Ring. 1998. Hell in a Cell. Undertaker. Mankind.
That's it.
That match. I remember watching that match. We didn't watch it on the pay-per-view, obviously, but we were able to get a hold of it at some point when we were young and watch that match. And it was, even watching it after it happened, it was phenomenal. It's an amazing match. I think it goes down as a benchmark for Hell in a Cell matches and just matches in general. Like,
watching it almost fucking 25 years later is
I
still
I get goosebumps when
You're just
Mankind
like,
goes off
oh
that
my
top. I'm like,
God.
ah!
or even
It's
more so
crazy.
when he goes through the top
Through
of the
the
cell,
top,
because
yeah,
that
onto
wasn't
the-
supposed to happen.
Onto the
Him going
thumbtacks.
off the edge, that was planned.
Yeah, and then knowing
Him
that later
going
on in the
through
night,
was not.
they both come back out to interfere in another match later on in the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that one definitely would be my first pick for Hall of Fame match.
That's a good choice.
Great
That's a
fucking choice.
solid choice.
That one was like right there. I had 3 that I was like, fuck. That was one of the 3. So
Nice.
I didn't.
Well,
I didn't
trust
go
me,
that
I
one
picked
up.
2 more just in case I
Yeah.
didn't go first.
Yeah,
Brian?
yeah, man. I'm going Stone Cold Bret Hart.
All right.
WrestleMania 13. Yep. It was I think it's arguably one of the most influential matches in the history of WWE, because it kind of that match kind of ushered in the Attitude Era before the Attitude Era was actually officially a thing, right? Because that was in like March of 97, and the Attitude Era didn't officially begin until November of 97. And but that match, it's one of the only times in the history of wrestling where you have had a in-match heel and face turn that both went over completely perfectly, right? Like Stone Cold was the heel going into it. Bret Hart's the best there is, best there was, best there ever will be face that he had pretty much always been, and then he turns heel in the match. Stone Cold turns face in the match. Like Bret wins and becomes this huge heel. Stone Cold loses and becomes a fucking hero, right? So yeah, it was one of those, and it kind of set the tone for like that match, coupled with Stone Cold's neck injury a few months later at SummerSlam, were like the 2 biggest things that kind of defined his style, his wrestling style, because he had been known as a technical wrestler all before that.
Yeah.
And so that kind of defined his wrestling style that he had over the course of the next, 5-6 years before he hung up his boots.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going Stone Cold Bret Hart, WrestleMania 13.
Another solid choice.
Can I say my runner-up real quick? Because that was my third choice. My second, just real fast, I won't go detailed, but it was Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon ladder match for the IC at WrestleMania 10. But anyways.
Nice.
You just stole Tim's. No.
Oh, I guess, I should have waited to do the runner-up. just in
son of a
case.
bitch.
Move. My bad.
Mine is Rock Hogan, WrestleMania 18. It was Icon versus
Fuck,
Icon.
I did not see that coming.
It was-
I did not see that coming, but it makes sense.
It was just what an insane match. Hogan's a big heel going into this match with Rock, and kind of like you said with Bret Hart and Stone Cold, it was the Canadian crowd in there. They swapped. It was Rock the heel and Hogan was the face, but it was just, since starting wrestling, watching in late 97, 98, there wasn't one of those like iconic moments, and then just their face off and how big that match felt. It was like chills watching that
One
match.
of the most iconic pre-match face-offs when they're face to face, and they didn't plan it or anything, but they both looked to their left.
Yeah.
And then both looked to their right, because they were just listening to the crowd and they were just taking it in and feeling it, and then they just played off of that.
Yeah,
So,
and you got Rock at his highest height, of popularity.
You
and
have the face of the history of wrestling
and then,
at that point.
Yeah.
Against the face of the current generation.
Exactly. So you fast forward to John Cena Rock, that it was like that next moment like that.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Rock Hogan, WrestleMania 18 is mine.
Fuck yeah. Well,
All right.
that brings us to
Blockbusters. We got quite the agenda for Blockbusters.
We do. We got a handful of things.
So I'll bring Hysteria. Yeah, I brought this up to you. The synopsis of this show is: after building a reputation as a satanic music group, members of a high school heavy metal band become the target of a local witch hunt, when reports of supernatural activity start to plague their town. Stars Julie Bowen, Anna Camp, and a special guest appearance of Bruce Campbell. Premieres October 18th on Peacock. Just the I love spooky season. I think we'll have a theme going on here with this episode. But the teaser got me hyped. I mean, Julie Bowen's an amazing actress, and I was already glued in when I saw her. But just the what was going on in the trailer got me excited, and then seeing the actual trailer where there's like this group of kids starts a band and feeds into the hysteria that's going into the town and doing a satanic, band.
So what I got from the trailer was that they were a band and they were like, well, how, like, we're here, no one knows about us. This dude's been gone for one day and they know about him. So what do we got to do, And so they're like, oh, hey, someone drew a freaking pentagram in the place where he went missing. Let's make that our thing and try to play into this. And then it seemed like they end up like coming under fire from law enforcement, like they were doing. And then there's actually ends up being some sort of satanic thing going. I think it's going to be a really good movie.
Yeah.
Is it a movie or show?
I think it's a show.
Yeah, I think it's a show.
Yeah.
Series, yeah. I think it's going to be a really good series. I'm going to say Horror King Bruce Campbell.
Yes, exactly. Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's great.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really good. There's some comedy elements, and I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, no, I think it's the perfect blend of comedy, horror, and you can't go wrong with Bruce Campbell.
Oh, you can't.
Full disclosure, I didn't do my homework for this one. I forgot to watch the fucking trailer beforehand, so I haven't seen the trailer, but I read the synopsis and everything, and I just feel like, even without watching the trailer, that it's a very, very unique and original plot point and like idea for a story. So I'm intrigued by it just with that. So
yeah.
Perfect. I'm excited for that one. Next up, we got Teacup. Timmy, you also put this one on there.
I did. Just trailers after trailers this week.
There was a lot of shit.
But yeah, a synopsis of Teacup is: trapped on a farm in a rural Georgia, a group of neighbors must put aside their differences and unite in the face of a mysterious and deadly threat. This stars Yvonne Strahovski and Scott Speedman. James Wan is an executive producer on this, and the Conjuring universe is tied to him. So, and this premieres October 10th on Peacock. So Peacock is just putting out left and right coming up here shortly. But again, spooky season time. This got I don't know exactly what I want to pinpoint it, but it kind of got the Village vibes.
Yeah, I was going to say it's got M. Night Shyamalan vibes to it.
Yes.
It definitely feels M. Night Shyamalan, and you don't really know what's going on, and then there's a little bit of mystery here, and then it's like, boom, here's this twist, it seems like. So I think it's going to be a good one. Scott Speedman. He's in a lot of stuff.
A lot of things.
And you probably don't know what he looks like because you don't remember that that's his name.
He's not in The Haunting of Hill House or Bly Manor.
He is, however, in Underworld Evolution. So
yes.
You can look him up there if you don't know who Scott Speedman is.
You were also pronouncing it incorrectly, Nathan. It is M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong.
M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong.
No, I'm super stoked for this. The trailer for it looks great, and I will literally watch anything that has anything to do with James Wan.
Yeah.
in general, but especially in the horror genre. Everything that has to do with the whole Conjuring world is some of my favorite shit. And he has his hands in so many different horror movies and stuff. Like it's crazy, and like he's so good with all of that. So the whole worlds that he creates with all the stuff is just amazing. So I'm stoked for that. No Good Deed. I put this one on here. I had never even heard of it until I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I saw first off. I just like read the title. It was like No Good Deed trailer starring Lisa Kudrow and Ray Romano, and I was like, "What the fuck? I gotta watch that." Just right there, I'm hooked.
Oh yeah, everybody
like,
loves Ray.
Yeah, right. And most people are friends. So, synopsis for it. When Lydia and Paul decide to move on from their empty nest to forge a new life, they list their gorgeous 1920s Spanish-style villa located in one of the most desirable neighborhoods in Los Angeles, and the real estate frenzy begins. As they struggle to hide the dark and dangerous secrets that linger inside their longtime home, Paul and Lydia begin to realize that the only way they'll escape the past is to finally face it. So again, kind of adding to the spooky season vibes there. You don't get a lot of the dark secret side of stuff in the trailer.
No,
like you really don't touch on it a lot. It's just the trailer has a very like high anxiety feel to it, but it really just feels like all they're playing into is just like almost the stress and anxiety of trying to sell your home, right? Mm-hmm. But there's more to it. So I already said it, but it stars Ray Romano and Lisa Kudrow as Paul and Lydia, respectively. Also has Linda Cardellini and Dennis Leary. This is from the creators of the Netflix show Dead to Me. That was Linda Cardellini and Christina Applegate. It premieres on December 12th on Netflix. All 8 episodes, if I remember correctly, will I think it said will all drop on the same day. So, that looks awesome. Also,
yeah, the trailer looked good. With what they did show of Lydia and Paul, it kind of reminded me of Beetlejuice, where they're hiding up in the attic.
Yeah. I just watched that today.
Yeah, and so it kind of reminded me of that. But like to your point, I was like, it totally does. What is going on in this house? But there's something going on. But
it like the trailer. So did you watch the trailer for it?
No, I got this information as homework 12 hours ago. Less than 12 hours ago. So I did pretty good with the first 2.
Yep. No, I think you did great.
No, it really does. It has like the Beetlejuice vibes to it. But yeah, it like I said, it does a really good job of like pulling you in because there's more, but you don't know that what that more is. Mm-hmm. And so it makes you just be like, okay, now I'm like just a trailer on. I'm like, I gotta know what the fuck's going on in this show. So like, I'm going to be binge watching this probably over winter break.
Yeah, and I love Dead to Me, and so that show was great.
That show was great.
Yeah,
awesome. All right, moving on. I think this is the last. No, we have. Never mind. 2 more.
Time cut. I think we watched the trailer at the same time.
Yeah, I did not.
Oh, you did not?
I did not watch this one.
It was funny because
was this in my notes? I don't remember this being in my notes.
I sent this. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I sent it to you after we had everything on here. But regardless, Tim sent it to me, and I had literally like just watched the trailer like 15 minutes before that, and I was going to add it to the agenda for this episode, and then he sent it to me, and I was like, I was just watching this. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Synopsis?
Yeah, Lucy, a modern high school senior and amateur inventor, accidentally finds a time machine, travels back to 2003, the year her sister was murdered by an unknown serial killer. Torn between solving the mystery that has undone her parents and her hometown, saving the sister that she never knew, and irreparably altering the future and her own existence, Lucy must decide how to stop the slasher, save her family, and blend into 2003. This stars Madison Bailey, Michael Shanks, directed by Hannah McPherson, and premieres October 30th on Netflix. And obviously, the first thing I thought about is we're already doing a flashback movie to 2003, and that was when I was in high school. So now I'm feeling really old.
Oh God!
these fucking old ass geezers.
Shut up!
Shut
I was in
up.
third grade,
But
maybe fourth, depending on the time of the year.
the trailer was awesome.
I don't feel that old.
Trailer was awesome. It had Avril Lavigne playing in the background, and
Of course it did.
Because
that's all we listened to in
2003.
2003.
It was awesome.
But it definitely reminds me.
I have a double comparison for what the feels I have for it.
Yeah, so I watched a movie last October called Totally Killer, which is a Prime movie, and the premise of it was a time machine going back in time, stopping a slasher from killing, I believe it was the mom or something like that.
Okay.
So very similar, but I'm also here for this one, so I'm excited for it.
I mean, all slasher movies are similar, so you
Yeah,
can't
exactly. Exactly.
It had.
judge it.
I feel like it was like Back to the Future and Scream had a baby.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of the idea that I'm having, at least just out of watching the trailer and reading the synopsis and everything. I'm like that. I like the sound of it. I didn't watch the other one that you just mentioned. I haven't seen that one
Should
before.
give it a
so
check
this is
out.
new to me, and I like the idea of it. And I also really like Madison Bailey. She's in Outer Banks. She's like one of the main core group of the kids in that show. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I think it's like I said, to me it was a unique idea, again, kind of original, but I guess it's something almost exactly the same has come out before. But
Very, very similar, but I mean, Totally Killer was going back to the 80s, so different vibes of the movie, but give it a check out because that movie I really enjoyed as well. So.
Okay, cool. And lastly, we have on here Companion. This just like the trailer for it just dropped this the other day. There is, I cannot find a synopsis for this. Like you look it up and it literally says no plot yet, but the trailer's out for it, which is very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it tells me that like they're trying to keep certain, like I feel like it's like purposeful. Like they're trying to keep certain things under wraps with it, and that they're only letting you see in the trailer what they want you to see. So in the trailer, essentially, you see a psychotic killer with a girl trapped in his manipulative web.
It's a literal web.
No, not a literal web.
Not Spider-Man, man.
No, but like you didn't watch this one yet, right?
No,
So at one point in this trailer, it's Jack Quaid. Do you know? Can you picture him? Right? He's from The Boys. Sophie Thatcher and Rupert Friend, but Jack Quaid is the main guy in the movie they're talking about. At one point in the movie, you see him like sitting across the dinner, or in the trailer, you see him sitting across the dinner table from this gal, who I'm assuming is Sophie Thatcher. I don't actually know who she is. She's just was the second person listed in the cast. But and then all of a sudden she like kind of starts moving, and you see her hands are like chained to the chair. So she's clearly not there at her own will. And then at one point at the end of the trailer, which was the kind of the like, oh fuck part, was he like gets up, walks over, she's holding her hand up, he slides a lit candle under her hand, and then it kind of cuts to her whole arm is on fire, and the camera pans to her face, and she's just sitting there like this with tears just streaming down her face, and Jack Quaid's just smiling. I was like, oh, like, that's fucking creepy, and I don't know what's going on. What the fuck?
They're doing a good job with that.
Yeah. So, directed by Drew Hancock, premieres January 10th, 2025.
This guy that did Barbarian, if you haven't seen that movie, has Justin Long in it, another king of horror.
And fucking...
Oh, yeah, Scars.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård is in it. Him and Justin Long.
I don't think I've seen Barbarian.
That one was a good one. It came out over COVID, and it's only on streaming, or like you can rent it. But I highly recommend that one if you haven't. Really good horror movie. So, yeah, I'm really excited about this. It definitely, the trailer or teaser, whatever you want to call it, is super trippy. I'm ready for it. Jack Quaid was in Scream and the Scream 5, and I'm ready for it.
All right, we're back again, second week in a row. We're doing the Triple B Memoriam Toast. We had 2 people die just within this last, technically, We had one of these two people died within the last week. The other one was announced in this last week, but he actually died back in August, but it wasn't like public until just in this last week. It was announced on Tuesday. And then Nathan, you have one you want to throw out also that happened before we started doing this, so we hadn't touched on it yet. But first and foremost, we lost Chris Christopherson at 88 years old on September 29th. That is our mother's birthday. He was known outside of being one of the most influential country songwriters. Like Willie Nelson has gone on record to say he is the greatest country music writer of all time.
Eminem even shouted the guy out.
Yeah. But actor-wise,
pissed offerson.
Yeah. But actor-wise, mostly known for his roles in the Blade trilogy. He was in Payback, and he starred opposite of Barbra Streisand in I want to say it was in the late 70s, early 80s, A Star is Born. So, yeah. We got Chris Christopherson. Then we got John Amos. He died at the age of 84. He actually died on August 21st, but like I said, it was just announced on Tuesday. He was primarily known as the patriarch of the family on the show Good Times, and he was also one of the main characters in Roots.
He's in Die Hard 2 as well.
He was also in Die Hard 2, yeah. He was in a handful of other things. He was on a few episodes of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I think he was in a 3-episode arc of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was the father of one of Will Smith's girlfriends in the show. They go up in the plane together, if that's the same one I'm thinking of. But anyways.
He's one of those guys like Danny Trejo. Like he's been in
a ton of shit. Yeah, just like very well-known actor. Then Nathan?
Well, you probably already know James Earl Jones.
Yep.
The voice of Darth Vader, Mufasa, the old blind man from Sandlot. He was in Conan the Barbarian. So many roles.
Yeah.
He passed away week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago.
I think it was like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, somewhere in there.
Great loss. Amazing voice on the man. I mean, Darth Vader. Come on.
One of them, yeah.
Mufasa.
Mufasa. Vader and Mufasa are two of the most iconic voice roles ever.
Yeah.
Right? Both of them were him. So.
Yeah.
Big loss for the sci-fi world. So.
All right. Well, throw up the cheers.
Cheers to them.
To the memories they helped us create. All right, we got our episode Blockbuster special this week of Toasted or Trash. Nathan is only going to be able to chime in on one of these. He was not involved in this when we decided to do it.
I watched the trailer for The Bloodline.
Okay, Sean William Scott. Yeah.
So I can offer how I feel about it. But...
All right, so for those of you that either didn't see the last time we did this, or which was the first time we did this, is only the second time we're doing this. The way it works is I assigned a movie to Tim. Tim assigned a movie to me. We both respectively watched those movies on our own. And then we're going to just briefly talk about them. We're not going to do like a full recap of the movie or anything, but we're just going to like talk about how we felt about it. And then we are going to give it whether we think it's toasted or trash or even in the middle, whatever. And then we're going to try to guess what the other person thought.
Yeah.
So you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
What I assigned you. So I assigned you The Bloodline, starring Sean William Scott. And this movie is about a school counselor who does some extracurricular stuff at nighttime, I would say. It came out in 2019. It's a Blumhouse movie. Kind of got that horror vibes to it. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I love Sean William Scott. I'll start with that. There's a lot of the stuff he's been in I've really enjoyed. There's been a handful of things he's been in. I brought one up last week, Southland Tales. I thought it was fucking terrible. But there's most of the stuff
it had its bright points.
There have been a lot of, especially like his more mainstream roles. I would say, I guess, I don't know if that's the right word for it, but are things that I've really enjoyed. Dude, Where's My Car? The Rundown, American Pie,
Role
models,
Oh.
Mr. Woodcock,
Goon.
He's put out a couple others that like I enjoyed, but I could also see where people could find them questionable. The one where he becomes a tennis coach, that one was interesting.
Yeah, there was a lot of weird in that.
Yeah, but nonetheless, so start with that. I like a lot of stuff Sean William Scott's been in. Never really seen him in a role like this, for sure. This is definitely like outside of what you would probably typically deem his scope, right? This movie was... I felt like it was, in a way, a pretty... Rip-off's not the right word.
Dexter goes to school.
Dexter goes to school.
I call it Dexter goes to school.
Yeah, like literally, it was very much Dexter.
It's, I mean,
like
down
even
to the plastic in the room.
down to him, how he's doing the stuff, but even further down to his origin of it was so very similar, just in like almost kind of somewhat of a reversed role.
Having not seen it, but seeing the trailer, it seems that he is in touch with his mother. Is that the same sort of situation as Dexter's father?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Dark passenger.
Yes. But yes and no. Where like Dexter, the dad, like teaches him to do these things for the greater good type of idea. His controlling. He are we worried too much about spoilers in this situation? Okay.
No.
They're not new movies. Like this one's 5 years old. So his mom and his dad's like starting to beat his mom, and then he's young, he's probably like 7 or something. He kills his dad in defense of his mom, and then his mom like helps like hide the body and like do this. And then that's kind of what you get from it. But then like throughout the movie, there's one, like the movie starts with a nurse getting murdered, and then it comes back to that same scene later. Like it starts with that, and then it says 3 months earlier, and then it goes through all this stuff, and you find out that that's the nurse that was like part of him and his wife's childbirth, and his mom was there at the hospital and like witnessed some stuff happen, and the nurse was a bitch, and you find out later that it was not him who killed the nurse in the opening scene, it was his mom that did it, but in the exact same way that he does things too, like outside of like taking them Dexter style to a different place. She just fucking did it in the goddamn locker room of the hospital. But yeah, so it was, I don't want to, I'm not going to say it's definitely not toasted for me. I'm not going to say it was trash, because I was intrigued, and I think the ending of the movie is what kept me from leaning towards the trash side, because I thought that just, it was such a ripoff of Dexter's whole premise that I was like, fuck man, I was kind of bummed. But the ending with the wife, that's where I was like, okay, that was new. Cool, that was new. The whole time they're playing this, like the wife's like finding out his secret, and like you think she's like going to like turn him in type thing, and she like calls this kid whose dad he killed, because he's a guidance counselor, and he finds out like all these kids' parents are abusing them and stuff, and that's who he's going and killing. So it's like very Dexter like he's killing people for the
killing
good
people that deserve it.
Yeah,
he knows we'll never see justice.
Yeah, and so but so the kid whose dad he killed like confronts him, and the wife like hears this and stuff, and then like she ends up going to meet him and saying like, I believe you, and like you think that she's like going to turn him in. She ends up fucking murdering the kid at the end of the movie. Like the wife turned, and then they like form this little trio of just evil. The mom, the wife, and him. And like, so that was where I was like, oh, okay, that was a good swerve. That was a good twist that I did not see coming. So that's where I'm like, I'm kind of middle of the road here. It was kind of mediocre for me for the good ending, but a very, I feel like copycatted plot.
Appropriated.
Yeah. What did you think?
Well, you're supposed to guess, right?
That's that's right. I am. Oh, fuck.
Question is
trash.
No, I'm actually
You're going toaster?
right. No, right.
you're in
What
the
you
middle?
said, right in the middle.
Hey,
Heater.
fuck yeah! There we
I
go.
I too was like, oh, this is very Dexterish, but there was just parts that kept me intrigued into the movie, and I kept on watching it. And then the ending, like you said, the swerve, it kind of just wrapped it up. I was like, I don't hate the movie. I don't hate it,
Yeah,
but I'm not in love with it.
Yeah.
So definitely a heater.
yeah. Damn,
Heater.
I'm actually really proud of that then, because I was the whole time I was watching it, I was like, we never really talked parameters around toasted or trash. Can we go down the middle? Is there a middle, or do we have to just pick one or the other? And I was like, I can't do it either way. So that worked out perfect.
I'm trying to pick movies that I also haven't seen, so I am developing a toasted or trash as I'm watching it.
Yeah.
And giving it to you at the same time. So yeah. But no, definitely thought that was a heater.
Awesome. All right. So the one I gave Tim was the Peanut Butter Falcon. Shia LaBeouf.
Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, Dakota Johnson. I was thinking Fanning. I was like, I know it's not Dakota Fanning, but it's the only Dakota that was popping in my mind. And essentially, Shia LaBeouf's character, he's kind of on the run, and he befriends a person with Down syndrome along the way. And Dakota Johnson's character is like a nurse of sorts at like the care facility that the person with Down syndrome was at, and she kind of like he escaped, and then she goes after him to try to find him because they're friends. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Tim, what do you think?
Well, this was a first time watch for me.
Perfect.
So
I was like, I could definitely have seen you seeing this, but I was like, I'm going to give it to you anyway.
Yeah. No, this was a first time, and it was a good movie, man. It was had emotion, had humor. It was nice seeing Shia LaBeouf. I'm a big fan of Shia LaBeouf, and I know he's kind of went off the wagon, but I know this was back in also 2019, I believe as well. So
this was post wagon, too. This was a part of his like indie film kind of comeback,
resurgence.
Yeah, exactly.
He
and
put
so
Peanut Butter Falcon and
the Tax
Honey Boy.
Collector. And Tax Collector came out a year later, but thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I thought it had everything, and I couldn't stop watching it. So I thought it was toasted, and I'm going to say you thought it was toasted.
I did 100%. Yeah.
It gets at your heartstrings,
man. Like, and it's got pro wrestling in it too.
Yeah.
Jake the Snake fucking Roberts,
he's
baby.
on the
Mick
way,
Foley.
He's on the way to go try to be a pro wrestler. And they finally get
if we can't relate to that, I don't know what we can.
And Shia LaBeouf, who the entire time has made it very clear he's out for himself, has a change of heart and sticks up for this kid and gets this kid a spot at a little, backyard show in a ring. And that's all that the kid wanted. And, he goes out and puts on a match. And I don't tear up at very many movies. But this one had me getting a little misty.
Same here.
For sure, man.
Here.
It's
such a good movie. I would watch it again and again, honestly.
Absolutely. It's one
it's good. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
It's great seeing that from Shia LaBeouf.
Absolutely.
After all the legal issues,
bad publicity, domestic stuff. Yeah.
Seeing just a solid dramatic performance from a man with the talent of Shia LaBeouf. My hat's off to him.
Yeah. Agreed.
Toasted.
This movie hits me a little differently because I see things from a different perspective being a teacher. I teach kids with disabilities in every single one of my classes. And I see the good, and I also see a lot of the bad. And so seeing a movie like this put together by somebody like Shia LaBeouf, who has had the shit he's been through, the shit that he's caused too, that's like the emotional part for me is like seeing I feel like it had an even deeper message to it, that it was like everybody can have a good side, and everybody can have that moment. You know what I mean? So it, I happy you enjoyed it, because that was one where I was like, I'm giving this to you because it fits both our segments. You know?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Hells yeah. Toasted or trash. We're doing the Blockbusters trail once again,
Here
but
we go.
we could not do it normal last time we did it. Tim gave me 2 actors. I had to connect them. Well, we have a guest for the first time. We utilized all 3 of our significant others, our ladies. My wife wrote one name of an actor or actress down. Tim's girlfriend wrote a name of an actor or actress down. And then Nathan's girlfriend wrote the name of an actor or actress down. What we are going to do is we are going to open this. This is on the paper right here in the ring. We have not seen these names yet. We do not know what they are. We are going to reveal them live. And then we are going to have a 3-way race to try to connect them. My wife's name to Tim's girlfriend's name, but utilizing Nathan's girlfriend's name in the middle. Well, it just has to be in between, right? It doesn't have to be directly in the middle. But so person A to person C with person B somehow connected in between. And this is the first time we're ever doing this. All 3 of us have played this game multiple times with each other over the course of what we were talking about, 20 years that we've all known each other. Obviously longer. We're brothers, but 20 years for the 3 of us fully. We've been playing this game for a long time, and I don't know that any of us have ever done one like this. It's very unique.
So I've been playing over the last week.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that I was going to be on the show until less than 12 hours ago, probably.
Yeah, pretty close.
And so I did not know about this. I have been playing this game at work with my coworkers all week, so I'm warm. We have added stipulations. I got so good at it, I'm not allowed to use the MCU anymore. I'm not allowed to use Expendables anymore. There's so many places you can go. So I've never done one like this, though, where I have to go through a specific other person. Have we verified that these names are not in movies together?
Nope.
So if they are, we're just going to ignore that. Or
yeah, probably ignore that if they are in something together, right? Because you'd have to. I guess not really, because it just the starting and ending can't be in a movie together, right? But if the name Tally wrote, if the name your girlfriend wrote is in a movie with one of the others, that's in the middle. You can use that. I would say. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's still minimum 2 steps.
But the other 2 can't be in a movie together because you have to use the one in the middle.
Okay. And what does the fastest mean? Time wise or steps wise?
I guess just whoever says, I got it.
So
first.
That, or I was thinking we could all just go until all 3 of us say, I got it.
And then whoever gets in the fewest steps.
Whoever gets it in the fewest connections is
I like that.
Okay.
Right? But maybe I guess we don't necessarily have to put a full time limit on it because we can just cut the downtime. But
the few moments later will come into play here.
Yeah. All right.
No phones. All right.
Yeah, no phones. No notes for this one. Are we ready?
My phone's recording.
All right. My thought process is maybe go one middle, one there, so we just have them because they're sticky notes, so I can just stick them.
Okay.
All right. We're obviously going to just see these as they folded them for us too.
Oh, nice.
All right. We got them. We got them sticky. 3, 2, 1, fold.
Okay. We have Taylor Lautner to John Travolta through Lucy Liu.
Okay.
Lucy Liu.
I know.
Okay.
And we start now. 3, 2, 1, go.
Got it.
That was magnificently fast. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you have definitely been playing this too much lately. All right, well, you're going to be sitting tight for a moment.
Yeah, you are.
A few moments later.
Got it.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right, welcome back to Blockbusters Trail, a game where we go head-to-head to connect 2 actors through another actor. This time we have Taylor Lautner to John Travolta via Lucy Liu.
That's just real fisting motion.
All right, so Nathan, you got it first.
I'd like to go last if you don't mind.
Okay. All right. Well, then I
Hold
think
on.
I have.
How many connections do you have? Let's do it this way. How many
1,
connections do you
2,
have?
3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
All right, you go first. I have 10.
All right.
I've
So-
got 5.
So Taylor Lautner
Yeah.
to Julia Roberts in Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Fuck. Okay.
Julia Roberts to Cameron Diaz in My Best Friend's Wedding.
Okay.
Cameron Diaz to Lucy Liu in Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
Lucy Liu to Drew Barrymore in Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, the sequel. Drew Barrymore to Jason Sudeikis, Going the Distance. Jason Sudeikis to Jason Bateman in Horrible Bosses. Jason Bateman to Rachel McAdams in Game Night. Rachel McAdams to Benedict Cumberbatch in Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange to Samuel L. Jackson in any of the Avenger movies. And then Samuel L. Jackson to John Travolta in, what is it, Pulp Fiction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 11.
All right.
I could have cut you down
I'm ready to hear yours.
2
but
past Drew Barrymore. Via Liv Schreiber. Go ahead.
All right. I went Taylor Lautner to Anna Kendrick in Twilight. Anna Kendrick to Zac Efron in Dirty Grandpa. No. Was it Dirty? Which one was it?
Mike and Dave.
Mike and Dave. Thank you. I was like, nope, that one's Dirty Grandpa's
Aubrey
Aubrey Plaza. Yeah. But Aubrey Plaza is also Mike and Dave. So that's where I was. Efron to Christopher Mintz-Plasse in Neighbors. Christopher Mintz-Plasse to Jim Carrey in Kick-Ass 2. Jim Carrey, Cameron Diaz in The Mask. Cameron Diaz to Lucy Liu. Lucy Liu to Cameron Diaz is the way I did that. So that's one connection through one movie. Coming out both
Just got
sides
a
there.
sequel.
Charlie's Angels. Cameron Diaz to, I cannot remember the fucking dude's name. It's the bald dude in What Happens in Vegas.
Oh, I know who you're talking. The guy with the little hair.
Yeah, I can never remember his
He's
fucking
in Hot
name.
Tub Time Machine.
And that's my next connection is him to John Cusack in Hot Tub Time Machine. Cusack to Cage in Frozen Ground. Cage to John Travolta in Face Off.
Nice. Whew. We went a long route.
You guys are going to hate me.
All right, let's hear it.
Lautner to Sandler, Ridiculous 6.
Oh, yeah.
Sandler, Barrymore,
Yeah.
Wedding Singer.
There you go.
Barrymore, Lucy Liu, Charlie's Angels. Lucy Liu, Uma Thurman, Kill Bill.
Uma Thurman.
Thurman, Travolta, Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
I was thinking Kill Bill, and I was like, is
Yours was
she in
10?
that?
Yeah.
Let me give you a 9-stepper. You ready?
So you
Yeah.
still beat us.
So you took second also.
First and second.
Lautner, Pattinson.
Yep.
Twilight. Pattinson, Rickman. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Rickman, Willis.
There you go.
In
Die Hard.
Die Hard. Willis, Thurman, Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
Thurman Liu in
Kill Bill.
Kill Bill. Liu, Barrymore, Charlie's Angels. Barrymore, Liu, Charlie's Angels 2.
Oh, you went forward and back. I see what you did there. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't go to Barrymore. I would have gone Kill Bill Volume 2, move back to Thurman. And then Thurman, Travolta, be cool.
Gotcha. Okay.
That would be cool. Yeah.
You also could have gone, because you used Drew Barrymore, right?
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore, Liv Schreiber in Scream.
Oh, duh.
Which I'm surprised you didn't get that one. Liv Schreiber, Hugh Jackman, X-Men Origins Wolverine, Jackman, Travolta, Swordfish.
Yep. Or Thomas Jane and Punisher and Swordfish.
Okay, good. I'm happy I didn't use that because I was wrong anyways. Cedric the Entertainer. I was thinking Cedric the Entertainer's character in Be Cool was Bernie Mac.
No.
And that's where I was like, I don't think it is, but I was like, I really think it is. But I was like, all right, I'm not going to use it because I'm not sure.
Different
Yeah.
King of Comedy.
Because that would have changed the whole thing.
All right, that was a tough one. Way to go.
Do I get a goblet?
No.
Is there a
You get
trophy?
you get
No.
a good handshake.
Thanks,
though.
guys. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
All right.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it. We are.
We
My
are,
gosh.
yeah.
Longest episode ever.
This is it. Blockbusters question of the week. I posed this. I said we are officially in spooky season. What are the core things you look for in a horror movie, and specifically in terms of plot points and storytelling? And then, other than Scream, for Tim, what is your go-to horror movie / franchise you make sure to watch every year?
Okay.
Nathan?
So core things I'm looking for in a horror movie, right? Is for I want surprise. I don't want to know who the killer is, except for in a few cases like Halloween, like it's Michael Myers. Right?
Yeah. Like those core.
If I'm watching a slasher film, and it's not a classic slasher, I don't want to know who the killer is in the first 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I also want, some suspense, right? I want to be sitting on the edge of my seat watching this movie, because you get the suspense with that surprise of not knowing who that is. Boom, that's where you get a scare. Right? Yeah. And for all of us, it's hard to get a scare out of us watching a movie, because we grew up watching every slasher film. We used to go see Saw every Halloween. We'd go see every horror movie that was coming out, and it's hard to get a scare out of us nowadays. So I feel like we need those things. When the first Paranormal Activity came out, that was the first time I had gotten a scare out of a movie in a long time, was when that body flew at the camera at the end, right? I want that surprise. I want that suspense of not knowing what's going on, and then boom, something happens right in front of me. Movie that I gotta watch every year. For me, it's not every year. Obviously, I'm gonna watch Halloween. At least Halloween 1 and 2, Jamie Lee Curtis. Those ones I'm gonna watch. But usually every year I try to rotate through. So like this year we're watching the Friday the 13th series. 1 year I might do Nightmare on Elm Street. This year I'm doing Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm doing Halloween. I'm doing Scream. I'm doing these other movies. So that's kind of how I like to run it. So.
All right.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, I like all things horror. So, but to your point, I do like that, the suspense and not knowing until the final moments of the movie. I really look for like real world scenario. Maybe there's some things where you're stretching the reality, but most of it can be happening in real life, and that really scares me. And then other than Scream, what is my go-to horror movie franchise? I love watching Saw. It's like you said, we watched it every year in the movie theaters as it was coming out, and we were there in the theaters. But I love the intricacies, all the small details in each movie, how it boils down to the final reveal of the movie. And it's just creepy because some demented person can go out there and do all those things. So thoroughly love that franchise. So
yeah, I'm gonna kind of bounce off what you were saying for core things I look for. Is I love the things that are rooted in true story, right? Anything that can like cause me to go research what like the actual events that took place afterward are some of the number one things that I love and that I'm here for. For the go-to stuff every year, I cut you off of Scream, right?
Yeah.
I'm cutting myself off of the Halloween franchise because that would be my automatic go-to. I've talked about that a lot on here though, so that's why I was like, I'm not going to use that. Another thing which I haven't done as much over the last few years because my lady is not a horror movie person. She has seen a handful of things with me. The new Halloweens that came out, the last trilogy that just came out. We went and saw those in theater. Scared the ever living shit out of her. She's not good with horror movie stuff. But so I haven't really watched them as much since me and her got together because it's hard to just like watch a movie alone. But it is the Conjuring, the first two Conjuring movies specifically. Yeah, but like the first Conjuring movie is one. It is. I would be willing to go out and say, outside of the Silence of the Lambs, it's like my number one horror movie. Silence of the Lambs is like my all-time favorite, but The Conjuring, it was one of the first movies, kind of like you were saying with paranormal. Like the paranormal stuff, that the Paranormal Activity movies didn't really freak me out that much. Like obviously there were the jump scare stuff,
Yeah.
but there were moments in The Conjuring that legitimately made me uncomfortable and like uneasy.
The
When
hands when she's sitting on the stairs with the match and the hands
just come out of the darkness.
do goosebumps.
Dude, no, like
Still getting
the
that
number one thing for
goosebumps.
me that made that I was like, oh fuck, like I was like physically uncomfortable was towards the end when the priest dude reaches through the floorboards and grabs her head, and she's like shifting in and out of her and the demon, and that whole just like I was just like, oh god. I was like, it was just like, fuck me, man. So like, but those, and again, that's the whole Conjuring universe is rooted in true events.
Yeah.
Right. Like the whole Ed and Lorraine Warren, they are like real people who actually have the fucking museum with all these haunted things with the actual Annabelle doll and all of the little, Horcruxes almost, if you will.
If
right?
you
Like,
ever get the chance to go, if you go to Vegas, if you get the chance to go to Zach Baggins' Haunted Museum, I don't know if you're familiar with Zach Baggins from Ghost Adventures, I think.
either way.
That sounds familiar.
Some show. He has a haunted museum in Vegas, and he actually has a lot of the Warren artifacts there.
Oh wow.
Like there's some fucking creepy shit there. And
Yeah.
like it makes you, if you don't believe in paranormal shit, you still will feel some shit.
Yeah.
Like it's creepy. It just standing like he's got fucking Dr. Kevorkian's fucking kill van.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Like fucking
Holy
crazy
cow.
shit.
Yeah.
It's
That's
pretty
wild.
good. You should go there if you get the chance to. Especially if you believe in paranormal, like I do, go see Zach Baggins' Haunted Museum in Vegas. Go do it.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, dudes, first episode with a guest on. First time doing a couple other things that we did today.
Hold on, I gotta get a sip. I'm empty.
Cheers, episode 18.
Episode 18.
Thanks for having me on.
Hell yeah.
Keep watching. Subscribe. Whatever.
Let's fucking go.